It's Buckeyes Breakdown here at Mark Rogers TV each and every Wednesday night as we talk Ohio State football. We're pleased to be joined by Tony Gerdeman from the Ozone.net. Join him there for the best in Ohio State football coverage. Before we break into the 2018 class that's sizing up at this point as maybe another legendary class, who knows at this point, you mentioned Urban Meyer's efforts recruiting. You just kind of alluded to it in the intro there. Jim Tressel brought in top 5 classes, not each and every year, but most years. And they may have slipped a couple notches near the lower portion of the top 10, but extremely strong classes. Why does it seem as though Urban Meyer has ratcheted that up, just not exponentially, but significantly?
Yeah, what he's done is, he'll always bring in, 20 plus guys. And Jim Tressel didn't always do that. He had a couple classes where they're in, the 16 or 18 or 14. So, those classes aren't going to be as highly ranked. They might have some guys at the top that are really good and at the bottom who end up being really good. But Urban Meyer, his classes, there's always 20, 25 guys in there. So there's more, more players to find and more players that can step up. So, but they also, they spend more money on it. They bring in more guys on official visits. Jim Tressel was famous for, only bringing in maybe 28 guys to sign, 20 of them, So Ohio State spends money like, it's going out of style, as they say. So whatever they need for their recruiting, they get. And that's, a bunch of official visits every single year. And so, you cast a wide net, you're going to catch a lot of fish. And the good thing about Ohio State is they can throw the small ones back and keep the big ones.
And Tony, I think one of the storylines you're kind of alluding to is the balancing act that Urban Meyer finds himself in terms of keeping Ohio high school football healthy and those relationships strong versus going after just the best players, period. Regardless of where they come from, it's Ohio State, it's Urban Meyer. They should be able to go out and challenge for the best. And that's his philosophy because he is there to win national championships. Earlier in the recruiting season, it looked as though the output for 2018 might be a little bit lopsided. Now here in the last several weeks, some of the top players in Ohio have made their commitments to be Buckeyes. So can you kind of run down where we stand here in 2018?
Yeah, well, a lot of the top Ohio guys are still waiting, so, that's why Ohio State doesn't have too many Ohio kids committed right now, but you're still waiting on 5-star offensive tackle Jackson Carman, 4-star defensive end Tyreek Smith. So those are a couple of guys that are out there, 4-star receiver LaChristian Smith, who he'll be a Buckeye next month, but, these are guys who haven't committed yet. So the Ohio numbers don't look so good. But you're right. I mean, that was a Jim Tressel staple, was getting the Ohio guys and bringing them in, and maybe that's why his classes weren't as highly rated. And I wrote, I think earlier in the month, I wrote, yeah, Ohio State should recruit more Ohio kids, but which national kids are you going to give back? Are you not going to sign Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa so that you can get a 4-star, from Cleveland, or keep a Columbus kid home and you say goodbye to Jeffrey Okudah, the 5-star cornerback from Texas? So yeah, they want to assign more Ohio kids. But right now, I was talking to somebody at Ohio State's camp last, a week or two ago, and there just aren't that many kids in Cleveland anymore. Columbus is, a better high school product than Cleveland right now. And who would have ever thought that would be, just 10 years ago? Cleveland was one of the best places in the country, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And now it's not even one of the top 3 places in the state. So when you consider that, you've got a lot of, hotbeds that aren't, quite as hot as they used to be. So, you can't just look at the borders and stay there. And Urban Meyer would love to. They talked about it on signing day. They want more Ohio kids, but it's up to the Ohio kids. In my opinion, it's not up to Ohio State.
Yeah, and it's a difficult thing because of the population shift that's moving west, that's moving south, and that's made it difficult on places like Ohio, which is still, I would say, in the top 6 to 8 in regards to quality and quantity of high school talent. If you look around the Big Ten and you size up the rosters, outside of that particular state's in-state recruits and signings, usually Ohio's in second place in the Big Ten. in supplying college football players, and certainly in the MAC as well.